you know, Mach Schau, as they used to tell the Beatles, you have to present. So it's a very informal show that I do. I mean, I get up and go to the bathroom, and they sit and they look at a microphone for 5 minutes. But it's still, I'm very aware of the fact that I don't want to waste people's time. I want to give them some value for their time. So I'm very aware of that. I don't think you want to waste people's time. So, you know, sometimes we do inevitably because it's just me, you know. So I have to go to the bathroom, or sometimes I have to take a call. But I'm conscious of that, and I really want to most of the time give people value. I always taught when we were doing tech TV, you know, we had these new young broadcasters come in, and you know, when you first get into broadcasting, it's a very egotistical profession, and you start to think, oh, what does my hair look like? Am I good? You know, is my profile? How am I lit? You become very focused on yourself. And the antidote to that, and the thing I would always tell these young people coming in is, your number one, the only thing you should focus on is your audience. Serve the audience. Serve the audience. Focus on them. Don't focus on yourself. Focus on them. Don't think about ratings. Don't think about how you look. Think about, is what I'm doing right now serving the audience? Are they getting value out of it? And if you constantly focus on that, all the ego goes away. All the worried about, you know, how's my presentation goes away. And you suddenly, you present much, much better because you're connecting directly to the audience. You're serving them directly, and it doesn't matter what your hair looks like. They sense there's a human being there, not somebody who's thinking, how's my hair? So that actually worked very well with these young people starting up. I think it's a very good way to do it.
Yeah, it's still different for me, maybe for Philip as well, because we're radio hosts, you know.
Radio teaches you that.
And we don't have a webcam in our studio. We use like just to checking it out.
We do.
You do? Okay, it's just
but you don't pay attention to it.
No, we don't.
No.
And, once I used Quick, which is a cell phone software where you can stream, which is pretty nice, and you can connect it to the thing called Forma Mogulus, which is now Stream Live or so. Yeah. And
what I learned, a lot of what I learned in radio. Radio is a really good discipline because you know, it's always good to, when you're learning something new, to have a limited set of tools, not to have too many tools. So the radio, all you have is this. You have your microphone. Yeah. That's it. All you have. And you have to communicate through your microphone to somebody, into somebody's ear, and make it work. And it's a great challenge. And you can only really do it effectively by being honest, by being clear, by learning how to communicate. And then when they turn on the camera, you've kind of got some great skills already. Radio is a wonderful discipline, you know. When I'm preparing a class for my daughters and sons' school on how to program, and it's very similar. The programming language that we're going to use, they have a beginner version that you turn off all the features.
Which one is it?
It's called Dr. Scheme. It's Lisp, and you turn off all the features. Just the basic set, and then you slowly add features as they get more skilled, because you don't want to overwhelm them with too much. You just want to get, and the same thing, radio's like that. It's a very limited subset. You learn that, now you can move on to TV.
But what's the advantage of video? So, I think you're doing, from what I know, what you publish later on in the internet, this is basically radio stuff.
It's radio.
It's MP3.
Yeah.
So, why do you do this video? I understand why you're doing it, but wasn't there any point when you realized, okay, people are going to love it much more than
they love
just
radio
audio?
better. To be honest, they love radio better.
Okay.
Most of our downloads are audio.
But why did you put all these cameras here then?
Well, there's a selfish reason, because I love to perform, and so it's more fun for me because there's more of a performance aspect, and for me it keeps me interested because there's more stuff going on. But I think, of course, ultimately you're also putting out more information. So there are things that radio is very good for. Radio is good for abstract ideas, because TV always needs a picture. I always hated me when I first got into TV. We'd be talking about something. Technology tends to be a lot of abstract ideas, and the producers would essentially cover it with random pictures. The pictures would only sort of have to match what you're talking about, but you have to put something on the screen. You can't just have somebody's head sitting there, or you have to put something up there. So they would put random pictures. They call it B-roll, so that there's something to look at. And it always frustrated me. On the other hand, TV's really good. If I want to say something like, well, let me show you how the iPhone works, or tomorrow when the new Palm Pre comes out, people want to see it. So there's some real advantages to having video as well. We do a gadget show that's audio only, and from day one people said, well, I can't see the gadget. What kind of gadget show is that? So radio can frustrate people also. It doesn't give you the full sensorium. So you want the full sensorium. So, you know, I turned on the cameras. We still do an audio-only stream of what we do. It's a small audience. I turned on the cameras because in some ways, humans are visual. And so it gives you, it's more attractive.
But it's a plus, right? It's not like obligatory that you turn on the video, but you can always listen to the radio.
I feel like most of the people who watch our live video stream aren't watching it. They have the picture in the background, and they're listening while they do other things. And then if something interesting happens, if I say, let me show you this iPhone application, then they look at the screen. Most of the time what we do is talking heads. It's fine. It's radio.
Yeah.
And really what I see this network as being is a companion. It's something that you have going on while you're doing something else. You're learning, you're entertained, but it's really just a companionship for you. So the video is only a kind of a secondarily useful thing. But it's great. I mean, I'm glad we can do it.
Why don't you have ads on the video?
We haven't. That's an interesting question because we haven't yet got advertisers who are ready to do that. So it took us about 2 years to convince advertisers that podcasts were worth doing. We're now in the process of convincing advertisers that it's worth buying the video stream. The numbers in the videos. Yeah. We did some product placements.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. We did a couple of things. We had a wine company sponsor wine tastings, and that worked very well, I thought. But we all got drunk, so we had to stop doing that. and then we had a brain drink called Brain Tonic, and that was actually a very effective product placement. So I know it'll work. Advertisers are just going to be slow to come to it. The numbers are also very low compared to the podcasts. 1/100th as many people. 1/1000th as many people watch the video as listen to the podcast.
Okay.
Actually, if I'm honest, it's more like 1/10,000th. So there's still much more money. And this is that bootstrap thing I was talking about. We're going to continue to make money with the podcast, use that money to support the growth of a video streaming product. But we're not going to be able to make money on the video streaming product for years.
Another question, if you have time?
Yeah.
Okay. So the location of where we are, we're just like in the middle of the countryside, Is it any kind of important that you're now in San Francisco area, where like Silicon Valley is closed, and you've got some?
It helps.
You had some did you have Steve Jobs sitting here?
No, but we've had people come up. It's very helpful to be close enough. We're still an hour away, so we're not right there. But thanks to Skype, we can talk to anybody anywhere. And I think Skype, there's some things that have made this possible. We couldn't do anything that we're doing unless Skype existed. In fact, I wanted to do TWIT, and I had the idea to do TWIT 6 months before I did it because I couldn't figure out how to do it. And then I heard how good Skype sounded. I said, oh, I can do it with Skype. So Skype has made this possible. But yeah, we do get people up, and we try to entice them. That's why we have the wine. Okay. We give them chocolate. We try to give them reasons to come up here. And I always thought in the back of my head, if I make this cool enough and interesting enough, people will want to come up and see it. And it's started to become that way. People actually make the extra effort to get up here and to see it. So that's good.
I can recommend it.
Yeah.
So let's talk to Philip, because I think he's falling asleep there.
Well, it's the middle of the night.
I don't know how I should sleep now. I mean... I'm awake fully. I have just one question, if you have time, Leo. It's a more like a journalistic question.
Sure.
Journalism as a watchdog. The way you describe it, the media in the future, there will be a very, a very high granularity.
Yes, it'll be fragmented. Yes.
Fragmented, totally fragmented. And until now it is considered to build up a political impact, to change something. You need big media like New York Times, Washington Post. It's considered that only these media can have this political impact to change something. Do you think in the future, if the media is that fragmented, it will be able to build up this political impact to change something?
I believe political power doesn't come from the top down; it comes from the bottom up. So these technologies allow political power more access, more ability to organize. Look what happened in the Philippines. Look what happened with text messaging. Look what happened in Russia with the the White House when they used faxes. Technology supports this kind of bottom-up political revolution. It isn't good for top-down. You're right.